Good evening everyone, Eplay45 here. So, Sonic X Shadow Generations came out recently, and I've wanted to talk about this game for a while now, but now I finally have time to talk about it, so I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on Sonic X Shadow Generations. Do I think it's good, or do I think it's bad? So Sonic X Shadow Generations is basically two games in one. It features a remaster of Sonic Generations and the brand new Shadow Generations campaign. It kind of reminds me of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. But now, let's get on to the review itself, starting off with Sonic Generations. And if you just want to see the Shadow Generations review, then feel free to skip to this timestamp. So this was actually my first time playing Sonic Generations, so I'm not going to be able to compare it to the original. So the story in this game is that on Sonic's birthday, the Time Eater sucks Sonic and his friends into white space, which is between time and space. And so Sonic and Classic Sonic has to work together to stop the Time Eater and save all of their friends. And honestly, this story isn't great. Like, it's not terribly bad, but it's just pretty mediocre. I was kind of hoping for a better story for Sonic's 20th anniversary, but the story doesn't really matter that much as long as the gameplay is fun. So let's get into that. So the gameplay in Sonic Generations is split between two different gameplay styles. Modern Sonic, with the boost gameplay similar to what we see in Unleashed and Colors, and Classic Sonic, which plays like the earlier 2D Sonic games. So let's start off by talking about Modern Sonic's gameplay. So Modern Sonic's gameplay is actually super fun. Sonic controls pretty well in this game, and the boost mechanic is super fun. It's just so fun to run super fast and run through a bunch of enemies. But you can't boost constantly, of course. There is a boost meter that depletes when you use the boost. And to fill it up, you need to defeat enemies and collect rings if I'm remembering things correctly. But yeah, Modern Sonic is super fun to play as. Now over to Classic Sonic. So Classic Sonic plays just like he did in the older 2D games. And he of course has no boost, but it's still super fun to play as him, since he plays pretty much the same as did Sonic in the older 2D games. I don't really have that much to say about Classic Sonic, I just think he's very fun to play as. So the gameplay in this game is pretty solid. There's not a single bad character to play as, although I do prefer to play as Modern Sonic. I just think his gameplay is way more fun. But good gameplay wouldn't be as fun without good levels. So let's take a look at the levels. So this game indeed has levels, just like pretty much every Sonic game. And I'm not very picky when it comes to Sonic levels. As long as the levels lets me go fast and has no annoying gimmicks, I'm pretty happy. And almost all of the levels in this game are really fun to play through. There are no new levels in this game though, all of these levels are from previous games. But that doesn't really bother me, since this is a celebration of Sonic, and they chose some of the best levels from previous games. I had a huge smile on my face when playing some of these levels. And the music in these levels are also super good, but Sonic games usually have an amazing soundtrack in general. So overall, this game is really good, but not perfect of course. Some complaints I have is that the dialogue isn't the best. Some of the line delivery feels weird, and some of the things the characters say feel kind of weird and doesn't really fit in. But maybe the dialogue was better in the original, since there were some rewrites with this game. And I also wish this game was longer. It took me like 4 hours to beat the game, so it's a pretty short game. But thankfully, we have Shadow Generations now. So now, let's talk about Shadow Generations. So Shadow Generations is an all-new campaign that takes place at the same time as Sonic Generations. This story also takes place after the events of the Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings miniseries, and I gotta be honest, those 3 episodes were so good. I wish we had a full animated series like that, but what we got was still really good. I love that miniseries, the animation was just amazing, and I thought the storyline was really good. But let's get back to the game now. So in this game, Shadow goes back to the Space Colony Ark to investigate something. I don't remember exactly why he returned, but we soon find out that Black Doom is still alive and that he's chilling on the Ark. And let me just say, I'm super glad that Black Doom returns. I really liked Black Doom as a villain in the Shadow the Hedgehog game, so I'm super glad to have him back. But then the Time Eater brings Shadow and Black Doom into white space. And in there, Shadow gets some new Doom powers, more on that later. But with these powers, Black Doom is getting closer to take control over Shadow. And Shadow also finds Maria and Gerald Robotnik in white space, so we get some emotional moments from that. And yeah, the story in this game is really good. I think it might be one of the best stories we've ever seen in a Sonic game. Now, let's move over to the gameplay. Now the gameplay in this game is mostly similar to most 3D Sonic games, and Shadow feels amazing to control in this game. And this game also introduced the Doom powers, which includes Doom Spear, Doom Blast, Doom Surf, Doom Morph, and the Doom Wings. So the Doom Spear isn't much special, it's able to shoot multiple targets at once, and that's kind of everything it's got going for it. Then we got Doom Blast, which is pretty cool. You can only use Doom Blast on Doom enemies, and the Doom Blast launches you and your enemy up, and you can then launch the enemy forward and teleport to it. So Doom Blast is pretty cool. Then we got Doom Surf, and this ability makes you surf across water, and the ability is pretty cool, not really much I can say about it. Then we got Doom Morph, and this is maybe my least favorite Doom ability. I thought the ability was a bit clunky sometimes and just not very interesting to use. And finally, we got the Doom Wings, and this is probably my favorite Doom ability. So this ability works kind of like Supersonic, because I think you become invincible with this ability, and when you use it, your ring counter goes down. The Doom Wings are just super fun to use. So the Doom abilities are a great addition to this game. And the gameplay itself is just really fun. Also, sorry if you're afraid of the word Doom, I might have said that word a lot during this section. Now, over to the levels. So the levels in this game are pretty solid. The levels are split into 2 acts. In Act 1 you play in 3D, and in Act 2 you play in 2D. And the 2D levels are definitely weaker than the 3D ones. Like, the 2D levels aren't bad, they're just not as good as the 3D levels. Because the 3D levels are just amazing. These are probably some of the most fun levels I've seen in a Sonic game. The levels are just very long, which I really like because I love just going as fast as possible in Sonic games. And in some Sonic games, I finish the level in like a minute. But here it could take me like 5 minutes to beat a level. And the level design is just super good as well. So yeah, the levels in this game are amazing and possibly some of the best levels in a Sonic game. And most of the boss fights in this game are also really good. Like, the boss fights in this game aren't hard, but a lot of these are just very epic, and I'm a sucker for epic boss fights. And the soundtrack in Shadow Generations is also really good. The music made me smile so much during some of these levels. So overall, I think Sonic X Shadow Generations is an amazing game. This feels like such an amazing celebration of both Sonic and Shadow. I smiled so much throughout this game. I would definitely recommend this game if you like Sonic games, even if you already own Sonic Generations. But anyways, what do you guys think about Sonic X Shadow Generations? Let me know in the comments below. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye!